afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a life celebration by Franklin Group Symposium. Happy fourth Sunday to you as well. Today, we have the topic today is self care in the midst of sorrow. And at one point, we're going to bring Dr. Cunningham on to get started. So, if we can bring Dr. Cunningham on so we can get started. Hello, Dr. Cunningham.
Well, hello there, Marie. How are you?
I'm doing well today.
Good.
I wanted to bring you on while I was on because I want to do something a little different.
Okay.
Because I know that one of the things you're gonna do is you're gonna ask, what did you do for yourself last month to this month? And normally when you do that, I'm not on. So,
Okay.
I think you normally tell them to put it in the notes, So
Yes.
because I had the stage, I said, well, I'm
Okay.
just going to go ahead and tell you today, so before you ask everybody else, what happened, what did you have going on last month to this month?
Yes.
So let me tell you what I had. And I'm going to try to make a long story short
That's okay. I'm good.
because in the end, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
So from last month to this month, I got some notes over here, so I'm doing a little reading and going on. So a life celebration, we were blessed with a new location for conducting our funeral business,
Yes.
and it's actually going to be in the Austin area. And with the new location, it brings on new responsibilities and new challenges.
Hmm.
So the property that we took on, it was a company that also had their own branding on it. So in order for us to start our business, I wanted to go in and do some cleanup and put our branding in the area.
Yeah.
So I had to do some cleaning and clearing out some things from the previous owner. But in the midst of taking on this business, it also fell around the time for Mr. Franklin's birthday. And so
Mm.
Mr. Franklin, he always brings on more challenges. So the challenge was that he wanted to have a birthday meet and greet and also a soft opening for the business. So my challenge was, okay, I need to prepare this building for the
Hmm.
guests to come in.
Hmm.
So in the midst of that, I had to get the previous owner. They still had some of their things in the building. So I wanted to get things out, to put our branding in and everything. And my challenge was I couldn't do all that till I got permission from her.
Mm.
So I got the permission. Now, Tanya, with that permission, in 5 days,
Mhm.
myself and a couple of my staff, we went in and we transformed this whole area for bringing guests in.
Wow. Wow.
So with that, I started to thinking about the project that you gave us last year of decluttering.
Hmm. Hmm.
So my thought was, if I can go into this place in 5 days and transform, this place for guests to come in, why is it taking me so long to do my own decluttering and get things done? And the thing that came to me, though, Tanya, was I waited and I got permission from the
Hmm.
other owner to move the stuff out. I hadn't
Hmm.
given myself permission to move my stuff out.
There you go. You're preaching.
So yesterday, I gave
Mm.
myself permission and I went in and I did some things and I got a whole lot of things just kind of moved
Wow.
out. So it wasn't until I gave myself permission.
That's
So my
right.
question, that was my question to you, but I think I answered my own question.
Yes, you did. You gave yourself permission, and in addition to that, I want to add that to your stuff, it's an emotional attachment to a lot of your things. This was
Okay.
somebody else's stuff. You were just
Okay.
being polite, and you got permission. The kind person that you are. You didn't have an emotional attachment to that stuff, so that's why you could do it so
Okay.
quickly. Yes,
So
good for you.
I detached myself from that stuff now.
I'm excited for you. That is so huge.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm done. You can take over now. It's on you, Dr. Cunningham.
Well, okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Marie, for sharing that. That is absolutely some great news. That's a huge win, and I'm glad that you continued it until you finished it. Because we started that challenge on last year, and here it is. This time in 2025, you saw the need to continue that. So awesome, awesome. Greetings to everybody. Greetings to everybody that's on Facebook. Greetings to those of you who are on YouTube, and we are so excited to see you here. As Marie stated, we're here every fourth Sunday. Every fourth Sunday. Mr. Barry calls it our hour of power. We're here to give you some grief support information to help you through your grief journey. So, again, greetings to all of you. Would you help me put it in the chat? Help me appreciate the Franklins, Barry and Marie, in a life celebration. For those of you who don't know what that is, it is actually a funeral home, but now kind of like an event center, all in one. But they are funeral home owners, and they provide services to the Austin, Texas area and surrounding areas as well. So, would you help me just appreciate them? Just say thank you, Barry. Thank you, Marie. Would you put that in the comment section? Because they provide this service, again, not to just their families, but they do it for people outside of their scope of who they have served. We are meeting in person, several times this year. And so anybody can come. Anybody can come. So if you know anybody who's experiencing grief, tell them to stop by the Franklins. Again, you can come in person when we're going to be there. I believe the next time I'll see you guys in person is going to be September, but you can certainly invite them to log on. And congrats on the new building. So excited. I can hardly wait to get there to see that beautiful space. And we'll definitely have Grief Symposium there. So if this is your first time watching us, if this is your first time being with us on our fourth Sunday Grief Symposium, we want you to put a one in the chat. We want you to put a one in the chat. I see you guys on Facebook thanking the Franklins. Thank you so much. Put a one in the chat if this is your very first time being with us, because our digital team will certainly welcome you. We want to appreciate you for coming to be with us. And we want you to go to our Facebook page, A Life Celebration by Franklin. Go there and like it. And that way you can get the notifications of when we go live. But certainly we go live for grief support every fourth Sunday. Okay. So also, if you haven't done it at this particular time, you can look at the description that's attached to this particular video, and you can download the handout I'm going to go over today. If you haven't done so already, you can definitely go click on the link that is in the description of this video, and you can download the handout, because we want you to have that. We want you to have that so you can use that after today. So Marie has already started the check-in process. I normally ask, for those who may not have been here before, I always ask, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the teaching of what I want to teach you today, I'm going to ask you, what have you done for yourself since I saw you last? And you always hear me say, those of you who have been here before, I will always say, why do I ask that? Because if you don't take care of you, who will? And so today's subject is about self-care in the midst of sorrow. But before we get to that, can you guys put it in the chat? Marie has already shared with us that she's done some decluttering and she's got it done in her home. So we're excited for her. But what have you done? Put the things in the chat, in the comment section. Okay. If you're on Facebook, yeah, you can put it on there. I think I can see you all. But YouTube, put it in the comment section, and our digital team will kind of relay that message to me to let me know of what you have been doing. And as always, just like she is our leader here, she and Barry, I am the leader as relates to the facilitation of the seminar, the workshop. So I lead by example. I can't get on here and teach you about grief if I don't do my work. Okay. So what have I done since I saw you guys last? I'm continuing to lean into rest. That will always be something that I do, because I have found that a lot of people don't know how to rest. They feel like they're unproductive if they're sitting still. They say, oh my gosh, I need to be doing something. I'm not doing anything productive sitting still. Yes, you are. Sometimes doing nothing is something, and it is self-care. So for me, I'm definitely leaning into resting more. I am setting boundaries. I am setting boundaries for myself. As late as last night, I'm out of town. So you notice that, those of you who have been before, I'm in a new setting. I'm actually coming to you from Chicago, Illinois. Yes, I'm speaking to you from Chicago. I spoke yesterday in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. We had a grief, trauma, and healing symposium that was hosted by Apostle Shayna Zolifer. And the next day, meaning today, we're here in Chicago, Illinois. So I spoke at a church. Can y'all believe it this morning? It's a powerful church, a powerful man of God who said, I want to use my Sunday morning to have someone come in and teach us about grief and trauma and healing and help us through that space. So that's why you see it different. So last night, with the people that I'm staying with the beautiful host that I'm staying with, they are such sweet people. They love to host and entertain people. So we had company over, and because I had ministered yesterday, I was a bit tired. And so what I did, I excused myself. Maybe around 8:30, 8:45, I excused myself. I went to greet all of them, tell them thank you for being here, thank you for having me, but I'm going to go lay down. That was me setting a boundary. The old Tonya would have tried to stay up with them, knowing that I had to minister this morning. Okay, so that's a great example of me setting a boundary. And something else I did, I was in, where was I last weekend? Baltimore, Maryland. I spoke in Baltimore, Maryland last weekend, and at the end of that particular event, we had like a little ceremony of just releasing things, releasing pain, and all of that. The host decided to do that, and she gave us some bubbles. So she didn't want to release balloons. She said that was a danger of polluting the air, and so we had bubbles. I love bubbles. Do y'all remember the bubbles? Most of y'all are old enough to remember blowing bubbles, right? We get the little jar. Well, they had this thing, and I was blowing bubbles. So now I was able to bring that home with me, and I call it bubble therapy. That helps to calm me down. It makes me feel like I did when I was a kid. It made me smile. So those are just a few of the things that I have done for myself. I see some of you guys on Facebook. Let's see. Nicole Golden says, started cleaning out my garage. Good for you, Nicole. Good for you. That is so, so good. Keep up that good work. Keep up the good work. Okay. So just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody. So thank you for sharing that, Nicole. Thank you for sharing that. Now, our homework. Y'all remember we had homework last month. Our subject last month was talking about faith, spirituality, and the grief process and what that looks like. So my homework to you then was to basically assess your relationship, your faith relationship with God, depending upon where you are in your grief journey. If you are new in this journey, meaning if your loss just took place within the last 3 to 6 months, you may not be able to apply this homework to your life just yet. But if you are, I want you to assess your relationship, with God. Is it more distant? Do you feel more distant from God, or do you feel closer to God? Okay, and then just nurture your faith and definitely seek peace. And we talked about having grounding exercises and listening to music because that will certainly calm you. Music that is peaceful. Now I'm not telling you to listen to heavy metal music. That won't calm you. Okay, so listen to music and definitely get some support. Definitely get some support. So because I'm in a different surroundings, I will be looking down. I will be looking down. So when I'm looking down, I'm looking at the handout, okay, for us to go over today. So if you have your handout, go ahead and pull that out. Go ahead and pull that out. We're talking about self-care in the midst of sorrow. It is very important that you have that because just yesterday when I was in Milwaukee, man, it was a lot of people in there hurting, a lot of people. And these events here in Chicago and in Milwaukee, they were focused. The target audience was people of faith, especially in the Black church. So we targeted those areas because there are a lot of people that are in the church and they are struggling with grief, struggling with trauma. Okay. And so we talked about self care. Was a lady who shared her story. Her son died about in 2022 or something like that. And he left a son who is autistic. So she went into caregiver mode in caring for the son. And she discovered just yesterday that I don't think I have dealt with the death of my son. I said, you haven't, because she went into caregiver mode. And her response was just like a lot of yours. It used to be mine. Man, I can't afford to stop and take care of me. Listen, people, we can't afford not to do that. Self care is a must, it's a non negotiable. If you want to live a healthy life, you must take care of yourself, especially in the midst of sorrow. Okay. So on the handout, let's go there. What does it talk about? It talks about grief being a natural response to any kind of loss, and it touches every part of who we are. Most people think that grief only touches one area of our life. It does not. It's a whole body experience. It touches our mind, our spirit, and our soul. Okay? And our body. So it says whether it was a lost loved one or a relationship or even a sense of identity. You've lost your identity because of something that you're not connected to. I know I can relate to that. I lost my identity when I got divorced because a lot of people, especially women, not to say that men don't experience this, but we identify ourselves based upon who we're connected to. I'm married to, or I'm the mother of. And so, man, when I lost that, you've heard me share the story that I even had to mourn the title of being a pastor's wife. So I don't get invited to the brunches no more. The first ladies brunches. I don't get invited to them no more. But that is absolutely okay. That is okay because I am confident in my identity. So some of you may be in that space. And what grief does, it has a way of showing up and demanding to be felt. Can you put that in the chat? Grief demands to be felt. And if you've been following me any length of time, you have heard me share that you cannot heal if you do not feel. If you don't give yourself permission to feel, you cannot heal. So here's the truth. Here's the truth. It says many of us don't say it out loud, but grief is exhausting. Grief is exhausting, and it really, really is. It changes how we think. It changes how we feel. It changes how we move and how we function. And it can definitely cloud our ability to make certain kinds of decisions or even, guess what, get out of bed. That sounds so simple, but someone who is in grief, getting out of bed can be really, really difficult. And when we're talking about making decisions, I usually recommend to people that I don't recommend that you make any major decisions if you can, get around it within the first year of the loss, because your brain is not fully there. You're still foggy in that space. Okay, so it says on the handout, it talks about grief shows up in tears, silence, irritability, fatigue, or listen to this, over functioning. Can somebody put that in the chat? Over functioning. You're overcompensating, giving. Okay? Just a busy beaver, just moving around. Over functioning. So during sorrow, what do? We usually put ourselves last. We really do, especially if it's a family that's going through grief. So let's say you're a parent and your mom died or your sibling died and or you had a child to die, and before you take care of yourself, you want to take care of the kids, you want to take care of the spouse, you want to take care of everybody. What I usually say to people, the best gift you can give your children, parents, is the healed version of you. You start getting help and let them see you heal. Let them see you express your emotions, and then you can help them get the resources that they need. Okay? You can help them. So we care for others, we show up to responsibilities, and we try to do what we call quote unquote keep it all together while stuff is really unraveling behind the scenes. We're unraveling. Okay, we see you unraveling. Most people don't think we can see you. Yes, we can see you, based upon those who are on social media, using social media as a platform to unravel. Some people use social media as therapy. It is not a place of therapy. Okay, but we use it and we start ranting and we start raving about this and what happened to me or what didn't happen to me. You're unraveling. Okay, but grief certainly demands care. Put that in the chat for me, would you? Grief demands care, and not just emotional care, but definitely physical care, spiritual care, mental space. It demands rest, all of that. All of that. So I love this next line in the handout. It says, we're going to explore self care and explore how it isn't a luxury, but a lifeline. Now, the preacher in me wants to come up right now because self care, a lot of people really don't understand what it is. It's how we even begin to breathe. It's taking care of you. So it is a lifeline. So I want you to leave the session today really thinking about your self-care plan, and to know that it is a must. And it will change from day to day, possibly depending upon where you are. Like, I'm out of town, but self care still is something I must be vigilant about. Okay. So it says it's how we survive when we feel like we won't. It's how we honor our losses without losing ourselves in the process. So, grief, as we stated, is a full body experience. Guess what? That requires full body care. That just speaks to me. Grief is a full body experience. So if it impacts your whole being, guess what? Your care needs to be towards your whole being. Your whole being. So let's look at what does grief do to the body, the mind, the soul, all of that. So grief can be a heavy experience for many. Not all. Not all grief is heavy, but most often it is, because here's the thing: whether they died naturally or from a traumatic death, when you love somebody and you lose them, whether it was death or another type of loss through estrangement, family members are going through grief, don't even realize it, because I was yesterday speaking to a lady, had one of her sons was murdered, shot in the back of the head, and then the other son won't talk to her. So she's going through grief through both of those, the death and the estrangement. So it can be a heavy toll that it takes on us. Let's look at physically. What can it do to us physically? Okay. So we talked about how it can cause us to feel fatigue, body aches, our sleeping patterns are disrupted. Some of y'all may lose weight. Some of y'all may do just the opposite, gain weight. I know for me, when my baby died, I gained weight because I was eating everything in sight. But when my marriage died, I lost weight. I lost 30 pounds in 30 days because I wasn't eating. So it just depends upon the loss that will determine whether you overeat or undereat. But guess what grief can also do? It can weaken your immune system. Absolutely, it can. So, those of you who have been here before, you know that I've taught you what grief is. It's what's happened on the inside of you. It's an emotional, internal response to loss, and it's a chemical release to where hormones, the stress hormones, are released into your bloodstream. And so, mourning is what happens on the outside. So, mourning is how you cope. So, when you're crying, you're really grieving. I mean, you're really mourning, okay, because that's something that's on the outside of you. So, it can weaken your system. The lady that I was speaking with yesterday, where the son died, and then she has another son that won't speak to her, then she started talking about all the ailments in her body, and one of the things she mentioned is fibromyalgia. I said, ma'am, it's because of all of the trauma that is in your life. There is a classic book out there in the clinical world called The Body Keeps Score. The body keeps score. So many of you are experiencing aches and pains in your body is because of trapped emotions, thoughts, feelings, experiences, things that you've witnessed, because our eyes cannot unsee what you saw. You cannot. The brain records absolutely everything. And if we don't process what the brain records, then it's staying in our body and it can cause us to feel sick. Okay? So listen to this. Your body can be more vulnerable to illness when you're in grief, if you're keeping it all in. Okay, so our body will sound an alarm to let you know it's time to rest. It's time to give your body attention. You better slow down. It's time to give your body some care. And I believe I was talking to Marie maybe a month or two ago. Again, we were talking just about pastors. I think in their area, it was maybe one or two pastors who died within the last, 3 to 6 months, died in the pulpit. Okay. We've got to take care of ourselves. All right. So there's a physical toll. There is an emotional toll, So grief can certainly feel like a whirlwind, and it brings all of these emotions to the surface: guilt, sadness, numbness, all of that. The challenge is we don't know what to do with those emotions. Okay. And we get overwhelmed with that. So we want to allow ourselves to feel. That's what you do with them. First thing is allow yourself to feel. If you're angry, then you want to express that, I'm really angry about this. I'm really upset that this really causes me angst when this happened as it relates to the death or whatever. You want to get it out. That talking is so powerful. We as a people, meaning in the minority communities, not only in the minority communities, but because I'm a minority, I can talk about it. In that sense, we don't generally understand the importance of talk therapy, talking. Just like when Marie started talking, y'all remember in the very beginning, she said, I got a question. But as she talked, she answered her own question. And that's what therapy does. It helps you to talk through things. We're not there to fix you. You have to do that. You and the Lord. But we're here to help guide you, provide tools so you can navigate it. So it's an emotional response. Okay. And so let's talk about a spiritual toll. Grief can certainly cause you to feel disconnected. I know I did. I did in one of my losses, which was the divorce. I felt deeply disconnected from God. And because I did the work, now I am more connected with Him. My relationship with God is more solid because I allowed myself to express. Because I was angry, I was really upset with the dude. I was. That's how I talk to God. You know, that's how He talked to me. I'm like, look, dude, I'm out here doing your work the best that I can. I'm not perfect, but I certainly am doing what I believe you called me to do. And what this is what's going on in my life. Doesn't mean that you're going to get an answer to whatever it is, but that expression definitely brings about healing. So you may be in the space from a spiritual standpoint. It takes a toll on you. It can impact your faith, even your identity. And there are moments where you feel distant, sometimes where you can't even pray. Has anybody ever been there? That was me. I couldn't pray. After the divorce, while I was in the outpatient therapy, I went to inpatient therapy and outpatient therapy. And while I was in outpatient therapy, the Lord put me on a fast that I was not supposed to eat any meat until the divorce was final. And that fast led me into a vegetarian lifestyle. I did it for about 2 to 3 years and only started eating meat because I needed to, because my hair was really falling out and things like that. I couldn't balance out my protein. But the other thing he told me is that you need to call people over to pray for you and to pray for your house because I wasn't praying. I was upset with him. So here's the thing. Look at this oxymoron. The Lord spoke to me and said, call these people to pray for you. And so I called people in to pray to a God that I was mad at. That's all. It was the grief, the hurt, and the pain. If I really didn't love God or if my relationship spiritually was so fragmented, I wouldn't have had those people to come over and pray. I would have went on my merry way. And I remember one of them, my godmother, Donna Curvin, she came over just as sweet as pie, praying woman. And she said, now, do you want to pray? I said, no, that's why I called you over. I don't want to pray. And that is okay. And look what I'm doing now. I love prayer, but I had to work through that. So there's a physical toll, an emotional toll, and then a spiritual toll. What's another toll is cognitively. There's a cognitive toll. So your concentration, give yourself permission to just be, okay? Just be. One of my cousins, she had her dad died maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and then her brother died about a month later, short span. And I saw her post and I shared it on my page, and it said something like, grief is really hard, but life and people expect you to show up and make decisions and things like that, and you can't because you're exhausted. Your concentration is not there, so it's difficult. You're overwhelmed. Okay. So these are a few ways that you experience a toll on your life as it relates to a whole body experience. A whole body experience. Now, what we want you to do is to understand these responses that we just talked about. Helps normalize this grief experience. That's why we come on here. We've been doing it for several years, 10 years, 11 years, somewhere around there, just as long as I've been divorced. So yeah, we've been doing it a long time. Why? Because we want you to heal. We want you to heal. You've heard us teach that grief never ends, but the pain of it should end. And so you can learn these tools because life continues to happen. So you may be experiencing a loss from years ago, and then something happens, and wow, I find myself in a space of acute grief because of this current loss. So we want you to understand that these responses basically help us to normalize this grief experience and remind you that what you're feeling is not a weakness. It is not a weakness. It's the body's and the soul's cry for care. It's your body saying, listen to me. I need help. I'm burnt out. I'm not doing well. Okay, so this is why self care, right in the midst of your sorrow, is not optional, it's essential. Okay, so do y'all remember during the pandemic where we had essential workers? Essential workers. These are the people that only could go outside. People who working in the hospitals and nursing homes and first responders. Those were the only individuals that were to go outside. And they were saying, essential workers, we're praying for you. Well, self care is essential, it's not an option. So I want you to leave today thinking about how you can incorporate self care as a part of your lifestyle, not as something that's on your to do list. You got to fit it in because it'll never work because life is going to continue to happen. So you want your self care regimen to be your lifestyle, to be your lifestyle. And until you develop the discipline, I've been out of state. And so my diet, a lot of you know that I'm now gluten free and dairy free. So even when I'm out of state, I got to say, hey, I'm gluten free. I can't eat that and I can't eat that. And because when I do, my body's responding. And guess what, y'all? There was a little bit of butter that was in the meal that the host prepared for me. Dairy for me, dairy for all of us is not good. You've heard me teach about that. My ear, nose, and throat doctor taught me that. He said when we ingest cow's milk, we're basically consuming mucus. That's how it responds to me. I have mucus. And just because it's just a little bit of dairy, it was a little bit of butter that was in the meal that he prepared, which was so delicious. I ate it, but I'm paying for it now because my voice is raspy and mucus keeps coming up. That lets me know because my system has been clean. I've been clean eating, and when I put something in there that is foreign that shouldn't be there, my body's responding like, "Girl, what is it? Something's going on." Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Start listening to your body because it's always speaking to you. It is always speaking to you. Okay, but we've got to be able to listen to that. We got to be able to listen to that. So what we want to do right now is redefine what self-care is. We want to redefine it because when we hear that word, we think of spa days, massages, pedicures, or bubble baths. So while those things are great, they can be comforting, especially in times of stress. I go to the hair salon every week. Number one, I can't do short hair. Praise the Lord. And yeah, so she does it for me. But number two, that's a part of my self care. I relax when I go. Okay, but that's not the ultimate self care. So going to the barbershop, going to the hair salon, getting your nails done, that's not self care. Those things are comforting. Okay, we barely scratch the surface as it relates to what true self care is. So I'm getting ready to say that, but I think I see a question on here from Nicole. Can we offer self care to the one who is grieving? So are you asking, Nicole, can you suggest that someone who is grieving, can you suggest that they take care of themselves? Is that what you're asking? And if so, yes, yes. And then teach them how to do that. You can use some of the tools that we're going to talk today about. Okay, let me know. Clarify your question if there's another if that's not what you meant. So we're redefining what self-care really is. So for someone who is grieving, self-care, listen to this. This is probably what you can tell them, Nicole. For someone who is grieving, self-care will look like getting out of the bed and brushing your teeth. That sounds so simple. But to the one who is in grief, they don't feel like getting out of bed. You can ask them. Ask anybody who's in grief. Okay, and they're having a tough time. Ask them, did you want to get up today? They'll be like, heck no. But I knew I had to get up. for whatever reason they have children or they have to go to work. You have to do this. I can remember when I was in depression, dealing with grief due to the divorce. I didn't want to get up out of bed. I didn't. I had to force myself to get up. So the first thing that you do is get up. That's a win. That's self-care. You got up and you brushed your teeth. Okay? So another thing, another way that self-care may look is like saying no to something that you don't have any energy to do. By setting that boundary, someone asks you to do something. Can you take my kids such and such? Or can you make these copies for me? Can you do this? Can you run to the store for me? Can you? Can you? And you say no because you don't have the energy. Or listen to this one, or saying yes to help when you normally push through alone. Okay? So when you say no when you don't have the energy, a lot of times we would say yes. That would be me. And what do we call that in the church? Just push on through. Push on through is what we're taught. And I'm not saying that there are not sometimes we should not persevere through things. Okay, Nicole says yes and no. I was thinking about spa days. Spa days are wonderful. They are. It's just the surface level of self care. Okay. And if you're going to go to a spa day, I definitely recommend getting a massage. You can sit in the whirlpool and you can sit in the steamer. What do those things do? The sauna, the steamer will definitely detox your body, causing the toxins to come out. Same thing with the massage. Massage, you notice it's called massage therapy. It is therapy for your body. So it's going to break up all the toxins and the tension that's in your body and cause it to flush out. Now, notice when you get a massage, when you have a good masseuse, they will always tell you drink plenty of water. Drink plenty of water. They're telling you that because they've been massaging your body and they're breaking up all those toxins, and the water's got to help them flush out. Because if you don't drink the water, the toxins are going to stay there. The toxins are going to stay there. Okay? So, real self care, listen to this, it includes nourishment for your body, setting healthy boundaries, and permitting yourself to rest. This is a huge one. Permitting yourself to rest. And here's another huge one, asking for help when you need it. That was me. Back in the day, I wouldn't ask for help. I wouldn't ask for help. I said, I would, and this is sad. This is sad. I would starve. This was before I got married. So I was struggling financially, didn't have food. I would starve before I asked somebody. And what the Lord had to show me, that's pride. I had pride. Okay? So you definitely want to allow yourself to rest. And that can be difficult for some of you because you're not used to being still. And it could be that you're experiencing anxiety. Okay? If you can't be still, if you feel like you always have to be moving and doing, I want you to assess yourself. So at the core, self-care is not a luxury. Okay? It's a form of self-respect. Self-care is not a luxury because, Nicole, when we hear of those spa days, again, people think of luxury. A lot of people don't even get to go to the spa until special days, Mother's Day, birthday, holidays, when we're given a gift card. To really allow spa days to be a part of your self-care, that needs to be something in your routine frequently, monthly, every other month. Something that you do on a consistent basis, okay? So self-care is self-respect. It's not selfish. It's how we give ourselves grace when we feel heavy and how we honor the fact that we are still here, still breathing, still healing. So now that we have redefined it, we know what it is. Now, what do we do about it? Next page, page 4, for those of you who have the handout, the very first thing you want to do is develop a self-care plan. Mm-hmm. If you don't develop a plan, just like for eating, I have to develop a plan because my diet is really restrictive now. I can't just, I'm learning to show up in spaces and I can adapt, but at home, I need a plan. That means I need to shop to get the food that I need and prepare those meals. Otherwise, I will fail. Same thing with your self-care plan. So what's the physical part? You know, you want gentle movement. You got to start moving the body, walking, stretching. That's a huge one. That's the one that I'm on now. Okay, we're going to talk about different ways. Remember, because grief is a full body experience, you cannot attack or deal with everything in your life at the same time. You just can't. You have to pick the one and make it a priority, one area, master that, and then move to the next. So for me, for the last few years, what definitely since it happened, the divorce happened in 2012. So since 2012 up until I would say maybe the last 3 years, I'm gonna say 3 to 5 years, I was focused on my mental and emotional. I couldn't. Doctor kept telling me you got to exercise. I'm like, I know, but I was stuck in a cycle because the gluten that I was eating, it shows up in my body and makes me feel fatigued. And the work that I do is very draining. So when I get through speaking, when I get through seeing clients, that was before I changed my diet. I would be like this. I would lay out on the couch. I was done and didn't know what was happening. But one of my mentees, she came to Milwaukee with me yesterday, and she said, "Do you know you taught for 2.5 hours straight? The stamina you have." And I say, "For real?" I didn't realize. It was like a workshop. I taught for 2.5 hours, hard, going. And I had to think, how was I able to do that? Definitely the Holy Spirit, but because I changed my diet. Now I have stamina. I have stamina that I didn't have. So you got to move your body, especially if you're over 40. If you're over 40, your body starts breaking down at age 40. So if we over 40, we behind the 8 ball if you're not moving your body at all. Why do you want to move your body? Because sedentary death is a real thing. I have senior clients and I love them. I love them. And one of them was sharing what her doctor said to her husband. Okay, that you need to exercise, sir. So I'm in that. But now I'm in the space I can focus on the physical. But because of everything that was going on within my body, I was tired. I couldn't move. So I've mastered the emotional and mental. Now I'm focusing on the physical. That's what you have to do. Pick one of these areas. Okay, hydration and nourishment. People of God, your food is your fuel, your nourishment. You want to feel better? Change your diet. Stop eating all the processed food. I'm a living witness. I went to a doctor the other day for a checkup, and he said, "You'd be surprised." And I was surprised that he said that as a physician. He said, "You can heal your body with the proper food, with moving your body, and with rest." We hear that all the time. That's not new, is it? That's not new, but we've got to apply that. So, physical care, move your body. You don't have to go to the gym. That was me. Back in the day, when I hear the word exercise, workout, I heard the word gym. And I don't like going to the gym. I don't have time to go to the gym because of my schedule. So I've created a workout space at home. Okay? Drink your water, nourishment. Y'all, this weekend I started eating prunes. Listen, the older you get, you appreciate fiber. Oh my God. I started eating prunes and I was talking to a lady and she said, "It doesn't taste good." I say, "I understand." But then before I could even explain, she said, "This is not even by how it tastes. Because I know it's going to benefit me. I should eat this." I say, there you go. There you go. Everything that we want to see change in our life, it starts right here with the mindset shift. So now I'm going to go home and buy me some prunes because listen, I need that movement. Oh, I felt good. I felt good. Listen, because some of us is full of stuff. I said stuff. Okay. Rest and sleep. Rest and sleep hygiene. Okay. You got to get rest. So an alarm would be for food. Set an alarm to eat if you've been skipping meals. Skipping meals is not healthy for us. I've learned that the hard way too. So number two, what else you can do? Emotional care, journaling. I know that may be difficult for some people, but journal. Okay, it helps you to unload things emotionally. See a counselor or a therapist. Go to a grief support group. What you're doing here, being live here, is good. Okay, that's helping you emotionally. Permit yourself to feel. And know that it is okay to cry and it's okay not to. Okay, but I will say, if you're a person that never cries, something's going on there. Either you have a clinical issue called dry eye syndrome, or you've suppressed for so many years that you can't cry. God is so awesome that He created these tear ducts, and tears are supposed to come out. If they don't, we've got to get to the root why they don't. Okay? So, physical care, address that. Emotional care, mental care. Okay? You want reduce overload, meaning just reduce your overload. Say no without guilt. Boy, I've mastered that. I'm so glad. Listen, you want to go such and such? No, I don't want to go. Thank you. I'm going to stay here. Okay? I've mastered that thing. Listen, now, I used to be the one that have to give an explanation. Wanda Henderson says, love journaling for years. Awesome. Good for you, Wanda. So, yes, learning to say no without guilt. Learn to rest without guilt. I said that last night. I went upstairs and I rested without guilt. I didn't feel bad that they were down there having a good time. Back in the day, I'd be like, I'm missing out. What's going on? That's called nosy. What's going on? I'm missing. My body said I needed to rest. Here's another thing you can do for your mental health. Limit your social media or negative inputs. Social media. We have so many things happening. The news, okay? The political scene. Limit your exposure to that because it'll help you mentally, okay? And there's an example you could use, a tool called the grounding exercise 54321, where you engage your senses. So you can kind of Google that. Google 54321 grounding exercise. It talks about things you can see, smell, touch, and taste, and it allows you to ground yourself mentally. Then the fourth thing for your toolkit is self-care, spiritual self-care. Yes, we want to pray. We want to worship. We want quiet time with the Lord. How you start your day determines how the day will go. Okay? Not doesn't mean that you don't have to have, for people of faith, doesn't mean your quiet time has to be in the morning time. I just recommend it because that's when it's quiet. It sets the tone for your day. But if you get up late, you start rushing, it's going to set the tone for your day. You're in a rush the whole day. Okay? But when it comes to spiritual care, we want you to pray, worship, ask God questions, without shame, read scriptures, devotions, all of that. All of that. All of those things will speak to your spiritual care. And there's a scripture that supports, people in grief. It says, the Lord is near to those who are brokenhearted. Near to those. Debbie says, that's you. Debbie, that was you. You fear missing out. I know. We got to work on that spirit. Yeah, that was me. I was wanting to see that. So develop a sustainable self-care plan. Address your physical care, emotional care, mental care, and spiritual care. Okay? The last one is so important. It's called relational care. Okay? So lean on safe people who don't require explanations. Right? Lean on safe people who don't require explanations. They're just going to allow you to be in that space. Okay? They won't allow you to stay in that space forever, but they're going to let you be. You don't have the pressure to perform. Let others help you. Let other people provide meals for you. Run errands. Just be present. What do those things do for you? Again, it helps you. It helps you. And definitely want to avoid isolation. You want to avoid isolation. So what are some barriers that keep you in grief? Guilt. Feeling like I shouldn't be thinking about myself. The Lord say I need to give. It's more blessed to give than it is to receive. And it is. And so you must be the first participant of you receiving the gift. You must give to yourself before you can help somebody else. And then another barrier is shame. Another barrier is exhaustion. And another barrier is cultural expectations. That's a huge one. Okay. I want to back up to where it talks about shame. It says, I should be stronger than this. Okay. Remember, those of you who are here, we talked about what strength looks like. It is not the absence of expression of emotion. True strength is when you do express. But talking about that cultural expression again, some family and friends will tell you, just keep busy. Come over here, be with us. Stay strong. All of these statements are barriers to your self care. All right. So your homework is to just kind of draw a circle on the outline. It's already drawn for you on the handout. And you have your life broken up into all these different areas: physical, mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual. And just identify the self care that you're going to do for each one. What are you going to do to take care of your physical care? What are you going to do to take care of your emotional care? And that's how you come up with your self care plan. Self care plan. So you can start today. You can start today before you go to bed. Take one of those areas and figure out, what am I going to do starting tomorrow to take care of myself. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Thank you for your time. I see that Mr. Barry is in the building. We can go ahead and bring him to the stage. Hello there, sir.
Hello. I am dressed up because it is my birthday month.
It's your birthday month. You celebrate the
All
whole
month
month.
long. Yeah. My birthday is celebrated until July the 31st,
Uh-huh.
11:59 p.m. So if you haven't sent happy birthday, haven't got me that cash app, the Melrose or the me, it's not too late there. Want to thank you again, Dr. Cunningham, for such a great. This is the greatest that you've done because it's July. You do know that's why, because it's July. That's why it's so great there. Want to, want you to send out to her, and if go back and review again, because I think our super technician that does this for free. That's what happened. I grew everything I needed in my family. Don't have to pay him either. Thank you, Jesus. One day, Cedric, you're gonna get paid, but not today. Not today, not tomorrow, but later on up the road, later on up the road there. Listen, one of the things that I want to encourage you to do as you get in self care, you're going to family reunions. Make sure that when you have your family reunion, that y'all talk about what you're going to do in case the upper echelon, Big Mama, Big Daddy, dying, they don't have insurance. How they going to get buried there? So y'all need to be looking at that. Make sure that people know what they need to do to get you buried. Have a paper, someone you trust, get that going so that don't have to do no GoFundMe. GoFundMe ain't doing too good in the funds no more. People done caught on their time. One person said, we had 10 GoFundMe in 3 months. I ain't doing that no more. So Pork and Bess said, God bless the child that's got his home. God bless the child that's got his home. Want to thank my wife Marie for all that she does. She's the glue that keep us together. She's the wind beneath my wing, and thank her for all the things that she goes beyond and sacrifice to make sure keeping it together. And Life Celebration by Franklin has the greatest staff in the world. You didn't know it, but now you know it. The greatest staff and everything needed to go. I don't have to micromanage nobody. They all together do their part and it comes together. And they've turned a job into a ministry. I'm most appreciative for that and for the support. Now we have a new place now. It's 16912 North IH 35, Austin, Texas, 78728. This is how everybody know where it was. It used to be Hanover's nightclub. Then it got turned over about 5 years ago for it to Eternal Peace, and now we have it there. And it's an event center because I haven't really pushed and advertised, but we have events, have a weddings planned up there, parties, repasses, funeral service, memorials, and there's room outdoors to have events outdoors. Just a unique place, something that we've been praying about and wanting and getting it. But come by, someone is there 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday by appointments only there. So want to thank you for sharing, supporting, and getting the word out. Pre-needs, we've been getting people to transfer their pre-needs from other funeral establishments over to us. Yes. They say favor ain't fair. It's not fair if you're not getting favor, but it's so wonderful when you're getting all that favor that's coming through and coming. Thank you for favoring us and getting us what we need there. Yes, you can transfer your prearranged funeral plan with another book about. Bring it to the best. We are the best for your greatest. Ain't that right, Sir Cedric? We are the best for your great. He got thumbs up there. Got thumbs up. Show him what you look like, Cedric. Come on camera. Come on camera. I don't care about your glasses. Oh, he got to be tight, you know. He got to be tight there, but that's fine. Thank you again, though, for supporting us. And we'll be online next month, August. But then in September, we're having a personal meeting. Dr. Cunningham will be in the place. And then in November, our last meeting, you want to be there. We're going to have something special this year. Special above all special stuff. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support. And if this has been good, be an ambassador, share it with someone else that needs to get the tools that was given up today so that you can work to your grief. Remember, grief is not just pertaining to a death. If you lose your house, your car, your job, your relationship, you lose your pet, you're going to experience grief there. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I dressed up for this because it's my birthday month. Don't look for me to do it on your birthday month. I might, just depends on what's going on. Anyhow, y'all need to tell Troy B. Smith down at Troy B. Smith Professional Service, he need to take lessons from a real undertaker, somebody that can really set him off and get him off the map. He needs to start having Greece Symposium for his people. Maybe he would be recognized as a piece of the Black governor of Texas, like me, Barry J.W., the Shepherd Franklin. Bye-bye.